Educating, informing, serving. Fact TV, keeping government honest.
WNESU budget meeting, first of 2019 to order. It's Wednesday, December 4th, and it's right now approximately 6:10 p.m. And I'm going to turn it over to Superintendent Pratt.
Should we do a round of
That's a great idea. My name is David Clark, and I represent Bellows Falls Union High School on the SU board.
Kristen Swartout, and I represent Rockingham.
My name is Josh Aberman. I'm the board recorder. Chris Pratt, superintendent of the schools.
Lynn Carey, assistant superintendent.
I'm Jack Breyer, and I represent Grafton on the Unified School District Board, and I'm here in that capacity.
I'm Cheryl Charles, and I serve to represent Westminster and the forcibly merged Unified
the
Board
forcibly merged district.
on the Supervisory Union Board as well. Thank you.
You can point the camera at yourselves since you're on the...
Don't challenge me.
Yeah, so so this year's budget, with everything going on, and taking a look at where we're going to be entering another negotiation year with the support staff and the teachers, and there's that increase in health insurance. Those alone are going to increase the SU budget. So I've spoken to Lynn, I've spoken to all the entities that make up the SU budget, and what I'm doing right now is it's going to be level funded. There's nothing, I'm not increasing any line items in the budget. One thing I think we do have to decide, and maybe want to go into an executive session just so we can talk about it towards the end after we've answered all the questions and had a chance to look at what he has for us, is talk about the contingency and what we want to put in the SU budget. But that's the short of it. I'm not looking to increase anywhere in the budget based on it's another negotiations year, and I think that's a big enough hit to the SU budget, in all fairness to the taxpayers of the town and in the schools themselves. So that's my intentions. I know at the next meeting I spoke with Harley Sterling, the director of the food service program here, is that he would like, and I shared with him too, works, I'm looking at to just level fund the budget, and he shared with me that he's going to be bringing up and, looking at revenue resources for the food program so we can lower costs and that. And so he's going to bring a proposal to all of you, I think at our next budget committee meeting on the 11th, and it's pretty much, I told him what I'd like to see is that you're looking at it as a revenue. We want to see what the expenditures are, and if there's a revenue here, the board's going to want to know, and the town's going to want to know, is it a wash? Are we going to take a hit, or be able to, not make money off of it, but whatever we're able to do with that, we can start reducing the price of lunches on that. So I told him it to be a time for him to present that to this committee. But like I said, I also shared with all individuals who make up the SU budget that we're not increasing any line items in the budget this year. The only thing I could say is if we can eventually, whether it's the space I'm currently looking at or another space for next year, is that I can see that there would be some, those would be areas of significant savings in the SU budget based on if we move from this building to another space. So that right there, we're just going to have to wait and see, but I can see there'd be some cost savings there, and continue to grow throughout the years if we move to another lease. So that's it's quick and simple. I just don't see where I can justify increasing the budget when upon negotiations and health insurance going up, so. Edie, what do you got for us?
Well, I'm not happy with the system.
We know that.
Yeah. Well, I've been doing budgets for 5 days straight, and for some reason it worked fine for Rockingham. It didn't bring any benefits in except for FICA. None of the health insurance, nothing came in. And I did it several times, and so I've got to call tech support. It did bring in salaries, but I don't know. I've tried everything with the benefits, and I could not get them to come in. Supplies and materials, those all have to be manually added. I usually meet with Harley and Stanley, and everyone else puts in their budgets. Yeah, I'm not happy with this because it did work for Rockingham. Why it's not working for the SU is beyond me.
So looking at this, I would say it's somewhat similar to when we're looking at Rockingham, except where it says you got the actuals for FY19 and FY20. Those are solid, right?
Yeah.
And so we look at proposed budget. For the most part, seeing we're level funding the budget, all that should pretty much stay the same. You know?
Health insurance is going up
Right.
a lot.
Those are the only areas that we're. It's the health
yeah, I
insurance and the
don't-
contingency that we would put in. Besides
Yeah.
that, saying we're going to keep the budget level. funded.
Everything else should remain.
Transportation. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we should be able to work within the budget we have for this coming year.
Help me size the expectations on the insurance side, if it's at all possible.
Size. Well, it's right now. It's at 12 point.
It's all the way up to
6.
15,
Now it's up to 15. It started off.
depending on the plan.
Right.
I think the highest is 14.9.
Yeah. So there's that span. It was at one point they were projecting 13.6, I think.
Yeah.
And then just in the past
The
few
high
weeks,
dot-
it's gone up more to
Right.
14 to 15.
Well, I'm certainly
Beehives.
glad the state took that over to manage it so much more.
Oh, no, this is VHI.
Oh, VHI,
And
okay.
that's on their website. They've got what they've turned in to the, yeah, I'm drawing a blank. The regulatory board. And they usually are pretty much right on. The problem with the negotiations is that currently we have support staff that only get a single plan. They have not considered that they can get as much as a family plan. So we're gonna see some definite increases in
And
the
we have to still wait to
budget.
see how that arbitration goes with the state.
Right, but both plans are the same.
Right, but I mean, it all depends, the split. They're looking at 80-20, but they also want 80-20 for paras. So you can imagine if that's the case, then when we negotiate with paras, that's gonna impact negotiations
Right.
there. So, that's one of the, like I said, I think the budget for the SU needs to be, level funded.
You're gonna be, if normally we'd be concluding our budget cycle right about now, and we've got all these unknowns in the system. How much cushion do you need against surprises? I think that's probably one of the things we need to know.
Until we really know how health insurance is going to play out, I didn't even know how close I can get to the mark to answer that question. But we I think all of us anticipated that the state taking over the negotiations for health insurance, we might be at a standstill, negotiations and budgets until they make a decision, because we could have been underway for negotiations already, but we probably wouldn't be going anywhere until we get that information. And so I think it's the same with the budget.
I'm just thinking, we have, I've been pestered by my town clerks as to when they would be expecting us to start to get material for them, and I know we're effectively 2 months behind. I've already suggested that we may have stuff that's a little bit more preliminary than we might otherwise, and in fact we might, if need be, because it really won't be a big deal for us one way or the other, if we have to delay something. The Unified District probably won't have their approval meeting in March, it'll probably be more likely April, just because of the timeline to get stuff done.
I think the biggest thing we have to discuss as a committee is what we're gonna put in for contingency for negotiations.
Well, with that in mind, would it be timely, Mr. Chair, to have us go into executive session to discuss that?
Well, I think as it relates to negotiations, that would be an appropriate reason to go into
Yeah.
executive session. Are you offering a motion?
I am, in fact, after querying the chair, I am now offering a motion to go into executive session to discuss a contract matter.
All right then, all those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Is anyone opposed? Okay, no one is opposed.
Sure.
I guess that if we can shut off the camera for a few minutes and shut off the camera.
The last few minutes before the camera came on, we were discussing the fact that we are trying to fit in our meetings, and because of the fact that the arbitrator has not worked out some of the benefits percentages, particularly health insurance, that has a real impact on both our budget and our ability to schedule budget meetings. So some of the meetings that we had initially scheduled for the 11th and following are now we want to discuss when we might have those meetings, because in fact the 11th can give us any information that we don't already have, which is not enough information to complete our budget process. So there it is. And we're live. Was that a reasonable summary?
It's a
Mr.
pretty
Chair?
good summary. The one comment I will make is that the arbitrator, when the arbitrator issues a ruling, will either accept the board's proposal for a health insurance package, or the arbitrator will accept the teacher's proposal for a health insurance benefits package, and will not be creating a hybrid of the two.
And the reason why this is important is because benefits are an important part of the overall package, and depending on what decision is made, our staff could actually see a decrease in their take-home pay rather than anticipated present compensation that they expect to see in their paychecks. And for people that are living paycheck to paycheck, that's not a fair burden, and some of that would necessarily bound back to us, and we'd have to decide what we want to do about it. So that is the reason why we are holding fort, and probably going to be finishing this meeting fairly quickly.
Where do we go from here, Superintendent Pratt?
I think where we go from here is that Edie will let us know when she's able to load in the proposed budget into the system. But, you know, like we discussed, it'll be level funded. And then by then, December 15th, you know, we'll get the call, so we'll be able to have a budget when we decide to re-adjourn this meeting, come back to this meeting. Edie's discretion.
Well, if you want the state numbers, it'll have to be after the 15th.
Yeah, we are assuming that.
Yeah. Assuming that the state sends them to us pronto.
I love our assumptions.
I'm sure Jeff Francis will, he's usually
Yeah.
pretty good about that.
He
When times
is.
come down, he'll get the
But
information
they
to
don't
us.
always come to the business manager.
So I'll make sure you get it.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, would at this point be appropriate to adjourn our meeting? Since this
Well, we
is
got,
really-
we got just a couple house cleaning items here. Agenda items for next meeting.
I think we should have the FY21 budget discussions. That would be a good item.
Okay. And that would include an analysis of the arbitrators finding. Okay. Comments of committee members. I have none. What about you, Kristen?
I don't have any.
Jack?
I'm good.
Cheryl?
Just another thank you to Edie for dealing with the difficulties, the challenges from the new e-finance program from the state that has just made this whole process even more difficult than usual. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Brenda?
No, I'm good.
Okay. I see no other business to come before this meeting. I will declare us adjourned at 6:45.